Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Wine and Spirits Podcast. Yeah, jazz hands. So tonight's episode, I actually have another personal story to tell you guys that just happened recently. It's a little bit of sleep paralysis and beyond. But you're going to have to wait for that because, of course, we have our wines. The wines that I want to talk about today are going to be the stuff that I tried over the weekend, plus one. And, it was one of those days, so I'm just kidding. It wasn't one of those days. It was a good day. So we're going to kick it off with talking about the wines first. The first wine that I tried this weekend was a Radius Cabernet Reserve. And that one was actually really, really good. I really like that one. Everyone knows that cabs are my favorite, so that was one of the ones that I have been wanting to try for a while. I did try the Syrah and the red blend. Not my favorite, but this one really, really took the cake for me. That's going to be a 5 out of 5 for me. And if you're wondering how much it is actually $19.99. So it's a medium body. It has hints of vanilla. I tasted a little bit of cherry. I'm sure there's other things, and I'm sure you can put down in the comments if you've ever tried this one, what you think about it. But I like it. I will be buying it again. So moving on to the other wines I tried this weekend, I actually got to go over to Penny's house. Hey, Penny. And we did some wines from a winery that I had never heard of. It's called Dancing Dragonfly. It's actually in St. Croix, Wisconsin. And it is a winery I will be checking out because the 4 wines that I got to try there were excellent. And everyone knows that I'm not really a sweet wine drinker, and there was 2 out of the 4 that were very, very sweet, but I actually would buy again. For me, they would taste a little bit better chilled, but some people like it chilled, some people like it room temperature. It's whatever floats your boat. So the first wine is called Pony, and that was a rosé. That one, I'm not a rosé drinker, but this one I would definitely buy again because it was light on the palate. It was fruity. I tasted apricot. I got a little bit of, I want to say cantaloupe. And I'm trying to think of what else I tasted. It was really hard on that one to distinguish what was all in there, but I just know that I like it. It's a rosé that I would definitely buy again. And if you're interested in that one, it is $19. So again, it was very light, very fruity. I think I had some apricot, some cantaloupe, and maybe a little bit of cherry, but it was very good to the taste and very good to smell. So moving on to the next one, Tango. And that one was a very, very sweet wine. That was a raspberry wine, and that was a mixture between, obviously, the raspberries and like jam. That's what it kind of reminded me of. So again, another one that's really good if it's chilled. I liked it, and I would probably drink it again. That wouldn't be one that I would drink a lot just because it can get a little overbearing with the sweetness. But like I said, there's some of you out there that really like sweet wines, and if you do, if that's your forte, then this wine would be for you. And that one, I'm going to rate it 4 out of 5. I don't want to rate it too low because I actually loved it. But yeah, we'll give it a 4 out of 5. I would definitely buy it again. And the third wine that we tried is a red wine called Cha Cha. And that one is $23. That's also at the winery. That one was dark berries. I want to say blackberries, blueberries. I got a hint of smokiness and like maybe a little bit of like dark chocolate. It had a kick at the end of it, and I really liked it. I thought that was a wine that I'd probably get again. But out of all of them, probably wasn't my favorite, which is shocking because I love all red wines. But this one, I probably would give it a 3 out of 5. Would I buy it again? Yes, I would buy it again. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't the best. The next wine, which was our last wine that we tried, is Ballet, which is a light and crisp wine. It has, I want to say, a little bit of a citrus fruity, maybe apple, apricot, all of the above. It was very good. It reminded me a little bit of like a Riesling. That would be another one that I would try again. As far as buying again, I'm on the fence on it. So I'm going to also give that one a 3 out of 5. Like I said, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't my favorite. And that one is actually $21. So all those lovely wines you can get at the Dancing Dragonfly. And I like it because they have like a theme kind of going on with all these like dance styles or dance moves. So I thought it was kind of clever. But that is all for Dancing Dragonfly. Now bringing to the current that I got from my best friend Jenny. Black Girl Magic. And it's a red blend. So we're going to check this out and try it out. Let's see. Let me get a little taste of that. Smells good, tastes good, and it's $24.99. It's got hints of vanilla, plum, raspberry, and blackberry. So it's really good. I gotta take another sip. And this, I would probably give a 4 out of 5. I've had other red blends that I liked. If you watch my Christmas wine reviews, the little mini bottles, there was a red blend in there that was really good, and I ended up getting the big bottle of it. But this one's not bad. I like it. But again, 4 out of 5. I would buy it again, though. Definitely. Good sipping wine. Good sitting around socializing. Or if you want to pair it with a food. I don't like to say which foods because I know some of you get down on me when I'm pairing white wines with red meat. Or if I pair a red wine with white, like fish. So I don't go into it. I just know what I like what I like, and I drink what I want. With that being said, we're gonna move into the story. So, guys, this first story, it's actually all kind of like a compilation of one experience over 2 days. 2 nights, I should say. So this first story, I actually was recanting the story to my husband. So you're gonna listen to an audio clip. And I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let you listen to it. It was a very bizarre nightmare that I had. And I haven't had a nightmare like this. Like, you know, you have bad dreams, like, you know, zombies are chasing you or vampires or you're doing something like that. But they're not really that scary. You wake up and you're like, oh, that was a cool dream. This one was not like that. It was a terrifying nightmare that kind of continued. So that's all I'm going to say right now. I'll just let you listen to the clip. And then we'll talk more about it after. In my dream, I was interviewing a guy, this white guy, who was talking about his dog had disappeared 2 or 3 months ago. And I was like, oh, can you describe your dog? And he's like, yes, it was this dog, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I was walking with him, and he ran off into the woods after something, and then just never came back. And he's like, we scoured the woods, and he's like, he just disappeared by this house, and it was like some creepy abandoned house in the background. That he's like, I think the house is abandoned. He's like, the police looked in there, didn't find him, didn't hear him, anything, and the police used search dogs to try to find him. And they said that there wasn't anything else they could do because it wasn't a human, you know, like they didn't do exhaustive searches for animals. Right. And he's like, and I posted this picture up all around. So anyways, he was talking about it. So, and you have them telling me it's with that. So then we're reviewing the tape afterwards. I'm like in a studio, some guy reviewing the tape. He's like, did you see? He's like, what is that? And I said, what is what? And he's like, he kept rewinding the video, stopping it, rewinding. And I said, I don't see anything. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, how do you not see her? I don't see anyone. And so, anyways, I was like, well, let's just wrap it up. We'll look at it again tomorrow. I'm like, I think we're just both tired. He's like, okay. So we left. And then I woke up the next day and I had like a bunch of missed calls, stuff like that, from this guy that producer guy that was reviewing the tape, and I was listening to the voicemail, and it was him, like, frantic. He said, I'm being followed. I'm seeing her everywhere now, blah, blah, blah. And then he, like, his last message, he had left me, like, 14 messages. His last message was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, she's everywhere. I can't even close my eyes. You know, you have to come over. So then I went to his house. He didn't answer. So then I did a welfare check. Like, I called the police to do a welfare check. And he wasn't there. Like, they didn't find him. Well, then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, we don't know what happened. So we went back to the house because we were going to do a follow-up. We had to get another producer because we didn't know what happened to him. I turned everything over to the police, and they said they were going to look into him as a missing person. And then all of a sudden, you see the dog running out barking. And I'm like, oh, wait, isn't that guy's dog? And the producer's like, yeah, I think it is. But then the dog ran back into the house. And then you hear the producer go, well, what's his face doing here? Like, the guy? And then the door slams. And I'm not going in there. I'm like, you just call the police and have them check it. So the police came out, they checked it, we tried to show them on the video, like, playback of what we saw. There's no dog there. There was no that guy, producer guy, but all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm like, who's that? And it's the same thing. The producer's like, what do you mean, who's what? I'm like, you guys don't see that lady back there. And it was like a lady standing in all white garb, just standing there. Of course, she looked like the smart thing. The hair was in front of the face. It was long. And then I was like, how do you guys not see her? And then all of a sudden, the other producer guy shows up in the video. I'm like, do you see him? I said, I don't remember what his name was. It was like, I don't know, Steve or something. I was like, Steve is standing there now. He's in the doorway. And then Steve on the tape, his eyes are like, it looks like there's like something dripping from his eyes. And he said, don't acknowledge her. He's like, or you're going to die too. And I was like, what? And I rewind it, but then he wasn't on there again. And I was like, I swear he was on there. I saw her on there, but then I didn't see her anymore. And they're like, okay, again, well, we're tired. We'll pick this up tomorrow. And I was like, you guys go ahead. I said, I'm just going to keep looking. So I kept rewinding it, and then finally I got back to the spot where I saw her, and then she was on there again. Except for this time, like, when I was like, you know how in scary movies where you walk away and you look and the person like follows you, but you don't see that? So she did that, and she did the little fast come up thing to the screen and did that, and then I looked out of the corner of my eyes and I saw her, and she's like looking at me, and then so I got scared, so I turned it off, and then I was like, for some reason, walking home in the dark. I don't know what happened to my car. And in my dream, I was walking home, and I kept seeing her, and all of a sudden I was floating up, like I was trying to float past her, and she's like pulling something out of me, like she's like pulling my soul out or something like that. Like, I don't know, she kept like kind of like Harry Potter, like sucking something out of me. I don't know what it was. It was just really scary. Like I couldn't get away from her, and she was like popping up everywhere. And then like I finally made it to somewhere. I don't remember where there was people, but like then I kept seeing her standing in the crowd, and I don't know. I don't remember how it ended. I don't know if I actually died or not. I can't remember. I just remember myself floating. I was floating up, and I was like scared. And then I thought I opened my eyes, but maybe I was still sleeping. Maybe that's when you heard me. I thought I opened my eyes and I had woken up in our bed, but then I saw her standing in the corner of her room, and I was like trying to wake you up. So maybe that's when I was doing that sound. I don't know. But it was so real and so scary. My heart was racing. Like my heart's beating right now, remembering it. Because I swear I woke up. Like I opened my eyes. And I was laying there and I was looking at the corner of the room, back towards the bathroom. And I saw movement. And so that's when I kind of tried to focus in, and I saw her step. And I saw her because the light of his phone and the little bit of light from the bathroom was reflecting off of her. And, like, the reason what made me look over that way in the first place is because the motion sensor went off out in the loft. And so then I looked at his phone, or I looked at my phone to see if he was up, and he was in bed. And I felt you next to me still, because I went like this, and I felt you next to me. So this is why I thought I was awake, because I felt like I was actually moving, feeling you next to me, looking at the phone, and then realizing he wasn't on the bed, but then the light went off, and that's when I saw like just a faint glow of like something move in the corner, and then like I like tried to like focus my eyes on her more, and then I saw her step forward, like the same lady. And then I think that might have been when I was trying to like wake you up or wake, I don't know what was going on. Like, man, that was scary. And now it's like when you woke me up, or you said I was having a dream, or that I was moaning in my sleep or whatever, or crying in my sleep, I had such a hard time slowly falling back asleep because I kept going like this with my eye.
You were whimpering, like it sounded like a whimper, because you were going like, whoo, like you were struggling, like almost being sleep paralysis.
Yeah, because I think it was the paralysis, because I thought I was already awake, and I was trying to get you to wake up, to look at her, to see what I was seeing, but I couldn't move. Like, it felt like I was just, like, I felt like I had already moved this much, but like I couldn't move anything else. Like, I was trying to get away, like, get up, to, like, get in a fight mode, and I couldn't move. Like, it was like cement. Like, the only thing that I could move was my head. Oh, it was awful. I was so scared. Like, I can't even remember the last time I had a nightmare. It's been a while since I've had a nightmare. So, how I'm feeling about that? I mean, I've had scary dreams before, but this one was so realistic. I was so drawn in that I felt like I was actually there. So it brings up the question that I have sometimes about astral projection, kind of out-of-body experiences. So that's kind of what I felt like I had, except at the time I didn't know that maybe that's what I was having, because it just felt like I was giving an interview. Like, I felt like I was a reporter, like almost like when we talk about different lives, like being reincarnated, like you have deja vu, and people say it's because, oh, you did that in another lifetime or whatever. That's what it felt like. It felt like I was, out of my body in a different lifetime, giving this interview, normal day, it's my job, and then this happens. And it was so creepy because when I was in the dream and I'm trying to get away from her, I felt like I was floating, like I'm floating past her, trying to get away, and she's like pulling me back in. And then I was so creeped out that when I woke up out of the dream, I was still in the dream. And I haven't had sleep paralysis for months. And so to experience this, but actually feel like I'm looking around my actual room and seeing her, it was really terrifying. So terrifying that, like I said in the story, I was whimpering, I guess, in my sleep because I was trying to get away and I couldn't move. So that was really scary to me. So scary in the fact that I actually went and looked out the window to make sure I didn't see her standing down in the street. And it stayed with me for a little bit. Fast forward to the next day. I tried to let it go, but when you have, if you've ever experienced a nightmare that terrifying, it's hard to let it go, especially if it's happening to you in real life while you're awake too. So this next clip that I'm going to show you kind of falls into the next night. So I'm going to play it and kind of talk while you're watching. So what you're seeing in this video clip is me about to go to Gio's room. You'll see a orb on the side, and then you'll see one come out of the light. And we'll zoom it in so you can kind of see it again. And the thing that creeps me out about this is I was just getting ready to go and adjust them. Then I remembered I had to do something in my bedroom. And so then I'm about to come back out of that same bedroom, and I see something in my peripheral vision. Like, it was really quick. I didn't look directly at it. I saw the full figure, black figure standing there. And its presence was so powerful, I jumped back because I didn't know what it was. And then I thought it was my husband playing a joke on me. So I kind of whispered his name. And then he finally came upstairs and I told him what had just happened. I said, I couldn't even go back through the door because I still felt that presence. So I was waiting for him to come upstairs before I exited the door. So what was scary about that is not only did I feel it, but the present, even after I jumped back, I still felt the presence and like it was holding me in my room, like kind of keeping me prisoner. And, I showed my husband my Pixel watch, not trying to plug it or anything, but showed him that and showed him my heart rate. My heart rate was like 105 or 108 or something like that. And I can't even explain it. So this happened without me even knowing that there was like activity, like the orbs and stuff like that. And the first orb kind of looked like it went into me. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. I kind of think it went down into my head, but I don't know. That could just be me because everything was heightened. But yeah, I can't explain it. But the fact that happened and paired with the experience that I had that I saw on the peripheral, I was like, oh, well, I got to check the loft camera and see if I caught anything. I'm like, I can't just be experiencing this, feeling this, and making it up. And so it was kind of nice to see that. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think of it? I know people out there are going to be like, oh, it's dust and flying boogers, whatever. It's actually not dust because I've showed you in previous videos when we talked about my paranormal history what it looks like when dust is on our camera versus when it's an actual orb. And we've even showed you the clip of the orb where we were out of town and it set off our motion sensor. So you can kind of tell, and because I've been doing this for a while, I know when it's dust and when it's not. But like I said, everyone has their own opinion and I welcome them all. So if you have anything you want to say or any questions, go ahead and put it in the comments. Now, that wasn't the end of the night. There was more. So let me get this queued up. Be right back. So let me just preface it a little bit before I hit play on this video. So I had just had that experience. It was time to go to bed. It was probably a little bit over an hour later. I'm laying in bed. My husband's already asleep. And of course, my eyes are adjusting to the darkness and I see stuff walking back and forth. And I'm like, ugh. So I flip over to the other side so I'm not facing my husband's way because I'm like, I don't want to see it, whatever it is. Well, the woman that I described, and I also have a picture that's really creepy that I have to show you too. I kind of look like a black form was forming. It wasn't full yet. I can't definitively say it was her. But, when your mind starts going, that's instantly what I went to. So that scared me. And then right at that moment, as I saw this image, I hear my door click, make like a clicking sound, as if someone was like pulling it. And because it scared me, again, I felt that presence that I had felt earlier. It scared me enough for me to actually jump back in my bed. I think I elbowed my husband, or I did something. I don't know. It scared him out of sleep, and he was kind of mad about that. But he got up, checked stuff out, and then he went into our son's room to kind of adjust him again. Came back in our bedroom, and this is where I'm going to start the clip. So this clip right here is after he came out the first time. Then before he went back in the second time, you see that orb that just flew towards the TV. One that shut up really quickly. And I think a quick one, which I don't know if I can see it on this one, blipped over by where my son's room is, over there in the corner. But, you can't make this shit up. And then he goes into the room. I felt a presence. I saw something. The door clicked, which I wish I had the audio for that, but I don't, unfortunately. I tried to see if I could enhance it. to hear it. It's just one of those experiences that I had that wasn't caught on camera. But I mean, with the activity of that, and I kind of watched probably like 5 minutes before this and 5 minutes after, and there were no other orbs. It was just around those two incidents that night that I know of. I mean, there could have been something else when I finally fell asleep at 4:30 in the morning. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And some people say that when you get an idea in your head, or if there's a story or something like that, that you can kind of manifest it into real life, like bring it forward. We were just talking about this on the Calling podcast about, I believe we were talking about tulpas, how you can have a story and manifest it into real life. Kind of like the movie Babadook, if you've ever seen it. It's a very creepy story that a little boy, I think it's a little boy, reads, and he kind of comes to life. I'm not going to do the impression because it will hurt my throat. But I can do it well, so if you want to hear it, I'll do it. But anyway, long story short, too late. I just feel like maybe either I manifested it, or as I was discussing it with my coworkers today, they think that maybe something might be attached from another time still to me. As one of my coworkers said, she's sensitive. So she kind of said that she felt something cold coming off me, like surrounding me every time I walked past. So I don't know. If you watch my paranormal history, I kind of go in depth. Another episode you can watch on what's happened to me throughout my life, my childhood, college, this house. But something's definitely going on, and I'll keep you guys posted if anything else happens. But so far, I haven't had anything happen tonight. If you see anything behind me, let me know. But again, I just wanted to share that with you because it was really creepy. It still creeps me out. Even when I tell people the story back, it still gives me goosebumps. But let me know what you think. Tell me in the comments. Have you had any experiences like this? Have you had a dream that's been so vivid, or any sleep paralysis that you couldn't wake up from? Again, I love hearing your stories, so go ahead and email me them. But that's going to wrap it up for me tonight. So I hope to see you on the next episode. In the next episode, I think I'm going to be talking about some real life possessions, with the reboot of The Exorcist coming. It seemed like a great topic. So remember that photo that I told you guys that I was going to show you earlier in the episode? So our camera actually in the loft tagged my face as a familiar face, so my name came up and everything. When you zoom in on the picture, it's really pretty creepy because the face actually looks like the woman that was in my nightmare. So chew on that, and she'll see you on the other side.